Oh, hello, hyperspace. My name is Davontos, and it's time to get hyped because this is some Overwatch gameplay. And in this gameplay, we're going to talk about how to fix some heroes, or how to see if a hero actually needs fixing. Now, I'm bringing up this video for two reasons. One, a guy on YouTube by the name Derek actually gave me the idea for this video. Shout out to you, Derek. Thanks, buddy. And also, a lot of complaints I hear on the Overwatch community of people saying, you know, Sombra's too weak, or Genji's too weak, or Winston needs a buff, which I actually made a video on that. But this game is a very, very delicate game. You make one character overpowered, and all of a sudden that character is broken, which basically ruins the whole game because it's a team-based game. And if you got one overpowered teammate, you guys won, and the other guys lost. So it's a very, very delicate game. And when Blizzard goes down to patch these kind of games, it can take a really long time because there's a lot of testing and whatnot. But here's how to tell if a character is actually broken, needs buffing, or needs nerfing. Let's get right into this! So the easiest way to tell if a character needs fixing is to watch how they play their role. Now let's use Winston and Genji for example. Let's turn to Winston and we see Winston is a tank. Tanks are supposed to be those big guys who jump into the battlefield, they absorb all the damage, and, well, they scare the enemies off. Roadhog does it, Winston does it, Zarya does it. However, Winston is a flanking tank. I feel like he performs better as a flanker because he can, well, jump all over the place. So even though he's a flanker, he can be a little weaker, so he can disrupt the enemies and be an easy target because he's very mobile. However, even for a flanking tank, I still feel like his DPS and his health in general is just very, very low, which is why I said in the previous videos before, Winston needs a buff. Now if we turn over to Genji, though Genji is on the category of a DPS hero like 76 and McCree, he is actually a flanker, and Genji isn't the only flanker in that category. We got Tracer and Sombra there too. So if we look at Genji, Genji is a flanker. However, most people use Genji as a DPS character. That means they have Genji in the front lines, you know, behind Reinhardt's shield, and they're just throwing shurikens at everybody and just going all crazy. Sometimes Genji players even just like leap into the battlefield and try to get some kills, and they can't do that because Genji isn't a high DPS character. Well, he gives high DPS, but at a very slow rate. Therefore, Genji is better suited to be a flanker, kind of like Tracer. High DPS, very fast rate, but very low health. It's the same thing with Genji. Genji is very, very squishy, and with Genji's double jump ability and able to climb up walls, the entire stage is your playground. So if you're playing Genji and you see yourself constantly in the enemy's line of sight or constantly in enemy fire, you're kind of playing Genji wrong because that's not what he was built for. He's better off being the guy who hides in the shadows, takes out a guy or two, and then quickly runs away. So knowing this, we can actually look at all of the heroes in Overwatch and understand all of their roles, and we can see who's overpowered and who is underpowered. Now we said Genji is actually pretty balanced. Genji actually had a nerf sometime last year because his ultimate was too overpowered. But Genji, I think Genji is right where he needs to be. I feel like Winston is a little underpowered, so hopefully there is a Winston buff in the future. At the moment, with all these high DPS heroes, as I said a few videos ago, I feel like Reaper also needs a buff because he is very slow. He gives high damage, but he is just too slow. So maybe a speed boost for Reaper. And also, if we look at Ana, now Ana is a very, very powerful healer. She is a little too powerful because if you actually look at all the other healers, let's compare, let's say, Ana to Mercy, right? Mercy is the fastest healing healer other than Ana. If Mercy, let's say, tags a Roadhog and she's healing Roadhog, if enough people jump Roadhog, he can still be taken down. However, if Ana is tagging Roadhog, all she has to do is throw that nano grenade and then constantly spam those shots at Roadhog, and Roadhog will never be taken down. I feel like Ana is an overpowered healer, which is why in the future, I believe this is on the PTR at the moment, but on the future, Ana's nano grenade will be getting a nerf, keeping her, I guess, intact with the Mercy healing rate. So Ana and Mercy are going to kind of be like very similar healers when it comes down to healing rate. Now if we look at the other healers like Lucio, Lucio heals very slowly, however, he is healing the entire team at once, so it comes into play. And same thing with Zenyatta. Zenyatta heals very, very slowly, not as slow as Lucio, but he heals slower than the other healers, but on the plus side, he has very, very powerful projectiles. So you see how it kind of comes into play and like how it all balances out? It's the same thing with the other heroes. So knowing this, you can actually pinpoint on each individual hero and see who needs fixing, who needs buffing, and who needs nerfing. Now, one more thing I want to touch on is like your favorite hero. Now, at the moment, my favorite hero is D.Va, and D.Va has a very difficult time competing with Zarya's. Now, if I'm a D.Va and I have no choice but to compete with a Zarya, most of the time, Zarya's gonna take me out. And if this keeps happening and Zarya keeps taking me out, that doesn't mean that Zarya is overpowered. That just means I'm making a bad choice on competing with a Zarya. As I said before, you gotta know your strengths and you gotta know your weaknesses in order to understand who's powerful and who's not, or who needs buffing and, you know, who needs nerfing. Now let's talk about Symmetra actually. Now Symmetra is categorized as a healer in Overwatch, I guess because she can give you shields, but she doesn't really do any healing whatsoever. She's more on the same game as Bastion and Torbjorn, which are turret players. And if you look at turret players, a turret's objective is to lock down a general area on the map, which is what Symmetra does. Now, Bastion just sits there as a turret and he just takes anybody out on his sights, which is why he's ridiculously powerful, because he's just there. He's an easy target. Therefore, they make him very powerful. Torbjorn isn't as easy as a target as Bastion because his turret is kind of powerful, but it's just there, which is why you can easily take out his turret with the proper hero. And Torbjorn works aside his turret because, well, he's mobile, he's a little strong, but he's just not as strong as a 76 or a McCree, so Torbjorn and his turret work together to lock down an area. It's the same thing with Symmetra. Symmetra deploys a whole bunch of mini turrets which are very weak when they're on their own, however Symmetra herself is very, very mobile. So you have a whole bunch of weak turrets and then one very powerful mobile Symmetra, and they're still all used to lock down an area. It comes down to the same thing. Get in Bastion's zone, Bastion tears you apart. Get in Torbjorn's zone, Torbjorn will tear you apart. And if you get in Symmetra's nest, Symmetra will tear you apart because they are all turret-based heroes. Sorry about that, the audio kind of just cut off. But yeah, that's about it. When you actually get to know how to use all of the heroes, you can really see who's overpowered and who isn't overpowered for their intended role. Now, I'm not saying, you know, all turret heroes play the same and all healers play the same. It's like a huge game of chess, you know, everybody does their own intended role and they all do it differently. But if on the big picture, you know, that's what they're intended to do. Mercy is intended to be healing, and Lucio is intended to be healing. Different healing styles, but overall a healer. So that's basically about it. If your favorite hero isn't working out, you know, try changing up your playstyle. Maybe you're using Tracer the wrong way, or maybe you gotta try a different approach with 76. So just mix and match things. You know, Zenyatta doesn't necessarily have to be that main healer you use. Maybe Zenyatta's not working out for you, so if you want to play healer, you know, try playing some Lucio or play some Mercy. Maybe their healing tactics will work towards your playstyle. So if you liked the video, punch that like button with a mighty force. You can follow me up on Twitter at Davontos, man. I'll leave you guys with the rest of the gameplay. It's almost over. I'll cut off the music as well. And as always, I'll see all of you in the next video. Have a nice day.
With me. I must reclaim my honor. Hello. Hello. Thank you, my friend. Ryuga waga teki wo kurau!
Taking the point!
Victory! Play of the game. Ryuga waga teki wo kurau!